Hello, my friend. Welcome to my Fall Asleep channel, a place created for calm, rest, and gentle nights. If you enjoy peaceful stories like this, you are warmly invited to subscribe and return whenever you need to slow down. Now allow yourself to get comfortable, let the day fade away, and enjoy a quiet and pleasant rest. Let's begin. The human brain rests quietly inside the skull, weighing about 3 pounds, yet containing nearly 86 billion neurons, each neuron forming connections with thousands of others, creating a network more complex than any computer ever built. These connections are not fixed, they change constantly, strengthening with use, weakening with rest, reshaping the brain throughout an entire lifetime. The brain uses around 20% of the body's total energy, even though it makes up only about 2% of body weight. Most of this energy supports communication between neurons, tiny electrical signals traveling along cells, chemical messengers crossing microscopic gaps called synapses. This process happens continuously, without sound, without awareness, maintaining thought, memory, and perception. The outer layer of the brain is called the cerebral cortex. It is folded into ridges and grooves, increasing surface area, allowing more neurons to fit within a limited space. If unfolded, the cortex would be roughly the size of a large dinner napkin. This thin layer plays a major role in reasoning, language, planning, and imagination. Beneath the cortex lies older brain structures, areas that evolved earlier in human history. These regions help regulate breathing, heart rate, body temperature, and sleep cycles. They function automatically, requiring no conscious effort. Even when awareness fades, these systems continue working steadily. The brain is divided into 2 hemispheres, left and right, connected by a thick bundle of nerve fibers called the corpus callosum. This structure allows information to flow between sides, coordinating movement, sensation, and thought. Although the hemispheres show some specialization, they work together constantly, rather than acting independently. Memory does not exist in a single place. Instead, it is distributed across networks. Different aspects of an experience, sound, emotion, visual detail, are stored in different regions. Recalling a memory means reactivating many areas at once, reconstructing rather than replaying the past, which is why memories can subtly change over time. The hippocampus plays a key role in forming new memories. It helps organize experiences before they are stored more broadly across the cortex. Damage to this small structure can prevent new memories from forming, even while older memories remain intact, showing how memory depends on both location and timing. The brain produces its own rhythms, patterns of electrical activity known as brain waves. These rhythms change depending on state, alertness, relaxation, or sleep. Slower waves dominate during deep sleep, allowing recovery and consolidation, while faster patterns appear during focused attention. During sleep, the brain is not inactive. It becomes highly organized, clearing metabolic waste through a network sometimes called the glymphatic system. This cleaning process is more efficient during sleep than wakefulness, helping maintain long-term brain health. The brain has no pain receptors of its own. It cannot feel pain directly. Headaches arise from surrounding tissues, blood vessels, and nerves. This allows surgeons to operate on the brain itself while a patient remains awake, demonstrating how sensation and awareness are distributed rather than centralized. Neurotransmitters guide communication throughout the brain. Dopamine influences motivation and learning. Serotonin helps regulate mood and stability. Acetylcholine supports attention and memory. These chemicals work in balance, rising and falling naturally across the day, shaping mental states quietly. The brain begins forming early in development and continues refining itself well into adulthood. The frontal lobes, responsible for judgment and impulse control, are among the last areas to fully mature, often not reaching full development until the mid-20s. Even in adulthood, the brain remains plastic, capable of change. Learning new skills creates new neural pathways. Repetition strengthens them. Rest allows unused connections to fade. This adaptability helps explain recovery after injury and the lifelong ability to learn. The brain communicates with the body through the spinal cord, sending signals downward, receiving information upward. Touch, temperature, and position are constantly updated, creating a silent conversation between brain and body that never fully stops. Oxygen is essential for brain function. Neurons are highly sensitive to changes in supply. Even short interruptions can affect activity. This is why the brain is supported by a dense network of blood vessels, delivering oxygen and glucose continuously. The brain itself floats in cerebrospinal fluid, reducing weight and cushioning against movement. This fluid circulates slowly, carrying nutrients, removing waste, protecting delicate tissue from sudden motion. Despite its complexity, the brain operates efficiently. Signals travel at different speeds depending on insulation around nerve fibers. Some pathways transmit information rapidly, others more slowly. Timing is precise, ensuring coordinated perception and response. Every thought, memory, and sensation arises from physical processes, yet the experience feels seamless, unified, calm. The brain does not announce its work, it simply continues, moment by moment. And this quiet activity will continue to unfold as attention slowly drifts, following the brain's natural rhythms, deeper into stillness, while these vast networks remain gently active, steady, and balanced. As the brain continues its quiet activity, different regions take turns becoming more active and less active, even during rest. Networks known as default mode networks remain gently engaged. These networks are active when the mind is not focused on a specific task, supporting reflection, imagination, and the sense of self. They are most active during calm wakefulness and light sleep. The brain's surface temperature stays remarkably stable, protected by blood flow that acts like a cooling system. When certain areas become more active, nearby blood vessels widen, delivering extra oxygen and glucose. This process is what allows imaging tools to map brain activity. By observing changes in blood flow rather than electrical signals directly, neurons communicate using both electrical impulses and chemical signals. An electrical signal travels down a neuron, then triggers the release of neurotransmitters across a synapse. These chemicals bind to receptors on the next cell, either increasing or decreasing the chance of another signal. This balance of excitation and inhibition keeps brain activity smooth and controlled, preventing overload. Glial cells, once thought to serve only as support, actually outnumber neurons in the brain. They regulate the chemical environment, insulate nerve fibers, provide nutrients, and help remove waste. Some glial cells even influence how signals are transmitted, quietly shaping communication without carrying signals themselves. The brain's folding pattern, known as gyrification, increases during development, allowing more processing power without increasing skull size. Each fold follows a general pattern, yet every brain is slightly different, shaped by genetics, development, and experience. No two brains are identical. Language processing involves multiple regions working together. Sounds are decoded in auditory areas. Meaning is processed in temporal regions. Structure and grammar involve frontal areas. Even simple speech activates wide networks, demonstrating how distributed and cooperative brain function truly is. Vision begins at the eyes, but interpretation happens entirely in the brain. Visual information is broken into components: color, movement, shape, depth, and processed in parallel streams. What feels like a single image is actually a carefully assembled construction, updated many times each second. The brain constantly predicts what will happen next, using past experience to anticipate sensory input. This predictive processing reduces energy use, allowing the brain to respond quickly. Most of the time, perception is a balance between incoming signals and expectation. Quietly refined with every moment, attention acts like a spotlight, but it does not illuminate everything equally. Focusing on one thing reduces processing elsewhere. This is why background sensations fade when attention shifts. The brain allocates resources carefully, conserving energy whenever possible. Emotions arise from interactions between cortical and subcortical regions. Structures like the amygdala help detect relevance and significance, while frontal areas help regulate responses. Emotional processing happens faster than conscious thought, often guiding reactions before awareness catches up. The brain maintains internal timing through specialized cells that track rhythms and sequences. These timing systems support speech, movement, and coordination, allowing actions to unfold smoothly rather than in isolated steps. Learning changes the brain physically. Repeated experiences strengthen certain synapses, increasing efficiency. This process, called long-term potentiation, underlies memory and skill acquisition. Unused connections gradually weaken, keeping networks adaptable rather than fixed. Sleep supports these changes. During certain sleep stages, recent experiences are replayed in compressed form, helping transfer information from temporary storage to long-term networks. This process strengthens learning without conscious effort. The brain also regulates hormones through close interaction with the endocrine system. The hypothalamus links neural activity to hormonal release, influencing appetite, temperature, stress, and sleep timing. These signals move slowly compared to neural impulses, providing longer-lasting effects. Despite constant activity, the brain remains quiet in sensation. Its work is silent, seamless, uninterrupted. Systems overlap and adjust without announcement, maintaining balance through continuous feedback. This steady operation continues whether noticed or not. Networks activating, resting, reorganizing, following patterns shaped by evolution and experience, all moving gently forward, moment by moment, as the brain sustains awareness, memory, and rest without ever needing to pause. The brain maintains balance through a process called homeostasis, constantly adjusting internal conditions to remain stable. Levels of oxygen, glucose, and neurotransmitters are carefully regulated. Even small changes are detected and corrected automatically. This stability allows neural activity to remain smooth and reliable. Blood flow to the brain is tightly controlled. Certain regions receive more circulation when they become active, while others receive less. This redistribution happens within seconds, ensuring energy is delivered precisely where it is needed. The total flow remains nearly constant, avoiding sudden shifts that could disrupt function. The brain is protected by multiple layers. The skull provides structure, the meninges form protective membranes, and cerebrospinal fluid cushions movement. Together, these systems shield delicate tissue from external forces, while still allowing flexibility and growth during development. Sensory information reaches the brain continuously, even during sleep. Sounds, temperature, and touch are still monitored, but the brain raises thresholds, allowing most signals to pass without waking awareness. This selective filtering protects rest while maintaining safety. The thalamus acts as a relay center, directing sensory information to appropriate regions of the cortex. During sleep, the thalamus reduces this flow, contributing to reduced responsiveness. This gating process helps separate internal brain activity from external input. The brain uses chemical gradients to guide development. Neurons migrate to precise locations during early growth, following signals that tell them when to stop. This guided movement creates organized layers and pathways. Errors in this process can alter connectivity, highlighting the importance of timing and coordination. The cerebellum, located at the back of the brain, fine-tunes movement and timing. It contains more neurons than the rest of the brain combined. Despite its smaller size, its dense circuitry allows precise coordination, supporting balance, rhythm, and smooth transitions. Decision-making involves distributed circuits rather than a single center. Options are evaluated based on past experience, expected outcomes, and current context. Many of these processes occur below conscious awareness, allowing quick responses without deliberate thought. The brain generates internal maps, representations of the body, space, and environment. These maps update constantly, helping coordinate movement and perception. When these maps change, such as during growth or learning, the brain adapts seamlessly. Neurons communicate at varying speeds. Some signals travel rapidly along insulated fibers, others move slowly, creating a layered timing structure. This variation allows both fast reactions and slow modulation, working together rather than in conflict. The brain conserves energy by minimizing unnecessary activity. Many neurons remain quiet at any given moment, ready to activate only when needed. This efficiency supports sustained function over long periods. During deep rest, overall activity becomes more synchronized. Large groups of neurons fire together in slow waves. These rhythms support restoration, memory consolidation, and metabolic balance. The brain's capacity to adapt does not decline suddenly. It changes gradually. Plasticity remains throughout life, allowing learning, adjustment, and recovery at every age. Even when awareness drifts, the brain continues to coordinate countless processes, regulating internal systems, maintaining structure, and supporting rest, all without conscious direction. This silent coordination persists through the night. Activity rising and falling in gentle cycles, networks aligning, reorganizing, and settling again, following rhythms that have evolved over millions of years, steady, reliable, and calm. The brain also maintains a detailed representation of the body known as the somatosensory map. Different areas of the cortex correspond to different body regions. Hands and lips occupy disproportionately large areas, reflecting their sensitivity and importance. This map is flexible. When a body part is used frequently, its representation can expand, showing how experience reshapes structure. The brain predicts the timing of events with remarkable accuracy. Specialized circuits help estimate intervals ranging from milliseconds to seconds, supporting speech, movement, and coordination. This internal timing allows actions to feel smooth rather than fragmented. Even simple tasks rely on these quiet calculations. Noise within the brain is not a flaw. Small variations in neural activity can actually improve sensitivity and adaptability. This controlled variability helps the brain respond to subtle changes in the environment, preventing rigid or repetitive responses. The brain communicates with the immune system through shared chemical signals. Inflammation can influence mood and cognition, while neural activity can shape immune responses. This two-way interaction shows that the brain is not isolated. It is integrated with the body at every level. Sleep stages cycle several times each night, moving from light sleep to deeper stages and into rapid eye movement sleep. During these cycles, different brain networks become active or quiet, each stage supporting distinct functions: memory integration, emotional regulation, and neural maintenance. During rapid eye movement sleep, the brain shows activity patterns similar to wakefulness. Visual areas, emotional centers, and memory networks interact freely. Muscles are temporarily inhibited, preventing movement, allowing the brain to explore internal imagery safely. The brain's energy use decreases slightly during deep sleep, but never stops. Maintenance continues. Synapses are adjusted, waste products are cleared, and cellular repair is supported. These processes prepare networks for the next period of wakefulness. The brain adapts to long-term patterns. Consistent sleep schedules help stabilize internal clocks. Irregular timing can shift hormonal signals and alertness. This sensitivity to rhythm reflects the brain's reliance on predictable cycles. Attention and awareness emerge from cooperation among many regions. No single area produces consciousness alone. Instead, synchronized activity across networks creates a unified experience. This coordination can change gradually, allowing awareness to soften without disappearing abruptly. The brain monitors its own activity through feedback loops, detecting errors, adjusting output, refining performance. This self-regulation operates continuously, without requiring focus or effort. Even in complete darkness and quiet, the brain generates internal activity. Thoughts, images, and sensations arise spontaneously. This internal world reflects stored experience, current state, and ongoing maintenance. As night continues, these processes settle into slower rhythms. Activity becomes more uniform. Communication remains efficient but unhurried. The brain favors stability over speed. This balance has allowed human brains to function reliably across long lifespans, adapting, learning, resting, and renewing, all while maintaining continuity. And so the brain continues its steady work, networks activating and resting in turn, following patterns shaped by biology and time, carrying awareness gently forward, moment by moment, through calm, quiet cycles that require no attention to continue. The brain also keeps track of internal space through networks that support orientation and navigation. Specialized cells respond to direction, distance, and location, forming internal maps that help organize movement and memory. These systems work even when the body is still, quietly maintaining a sense of position in the world. The brain filters enormous amounts of information before it reaches awareness. Millions of signals arrive each second, yet only a small fraction becomes conscious experience. This filtering reduces overload, allowing calm focus and smooth perception. Most processing remains unnoticed, happening below awareness. The sense of time passing is created by the brain. There is no single internal clock. Instead, multiple systems contribute, comparing memory, expectation, and sensory change. During rest, time can feel stretched or softened, reflecting shifts in neural activity rather than changes in the outside world. The brain adapts its sensitivity depending on context. In quiet environments, it becomes more responsive to small sounds. In noisy settings, it raises thresholds, protecting attention. This flexibility allows balance between awareness and rest. Emotional regulation continues even when thoughts slow. Networks involving the prefrontal cortex help moderate emotional responses, especially during sleep. This overnight processing helps reduce emotional intensity tied to memories, contributing to a more balanced state by morning. The brain maintains communication between distant regions through synchronized rhythms. Slow oscillations help coordinate activity across wide networks, ensuring information remains integrated rather than fragmented. These rhythms act like gentle timing signals, guiding cooperation without force. Development of the brain follows a predictable sequence. Early growth emphasizes sensory and motor regions. Later refinement strengthens association areas. This gradual process reflects the increasing complexity of interaction with the environment. Shaped by both biology and experience, aging changes the brain slowly. Some connections weaken, others strengthen through use. Many abilities remain stable or even improve, especially those supported by experience. Adaptability persists, even as structure subtly shifts. The brain responds to novelty by adjusting attention and learning systems. Unfamiliar patterns briefly increase activity, then settle as familiarity grows. This process prevents constant stimulation, allowing calm engagement over time. Internal states such as hunger, thirst, and fatigue are monitored continuously. Signals from the body are integrated and prioritized, guiding behavior without conscious calculation. This background regulation supports balance and survival. The brain's chemical environment changes gradually across the night. Neurotransmitter levels shift, favoring rest, repair, and reorganization. These changes are smooth, without sharp transitions, supporting uninterrupted cycles as external input fades. Internal coordination becomes more prominent. Networks communicate more freely, unburdened by constant sensory demand. This internal dialogue supports integration and renewal. Throughout all of this, the brain remains efficient, conserving energy, adjusting activity, maintaining structure. Nothing is rushed, nothing is forced. Processes unfold according to long-established patterns. This steady rhythm continues, neurons signaling softly, networks aligning, activity rising and falling with gentle regularity, sustaining function, rest, and continuity, quietly, reliably. Through the ongoing passage of the night, the brain also maintains a constant dialogue with the senses. Even when the eyes are closed and the body is still, background signals continue to arrive. Faint sounds, subtle changes in temperature, gentle shifts in position. Most of these signals are acknowledged and then set aside, allowing the brain to remain aware without becoming alert. Patterns of neural activity drift slowly across the cortex, like waves moving across a quiet surface. These waves help coordinate distant regions, allowing information to be shared efficiently. During deeper stages of rest, these patterns become slower and more uniform, supporting restoration rather than rapid response. The brain stores skills differently from facts. Procedural memory, such as learning to walk or type, relies on circuits involving the cerebellum and basal ganglia. Once formed, these memories require little conscious attention, allowing actions to feel automatic and smooth. Even years later, emotional memories are shaped by both experience and context. The amygdala helps assign significance, while other regions integrate meaning and outcome. Over time, repeated exposure can soften emotional responses, showing how the brain gradually adjusts intensity through experience. The brain continually evaluates safety, even during sleep. Unfamiliar sounds are more likely to pass through filtering systems, while familiar noises are ignored. This selective awareness allows rest without complete disconnection, maintaining readiness without tension. Neural connections are strengthened not only by repetition, but also by rest. During periods of reduced activity, unnecessary connections may weaken, while essential ones are preserved. This process improves efficiency, reducing noise and sharpening important pathways. The brain's structure reflects its history. Areas that have been used frequently show denser connectivity, while unused regions remain flexible. This record of experience is written not as words, but as patterns of connection, constantly updated. As the night progresses, cycles repeat, activity gently rises, then settles again, each cycle supporting a different aspect of maintenance. No single moment carries all responsibility. The work is shared across time. The brain remains patient, allowing processes to complete at their own pace. Signals are exchanged, chemicals are balanced, networks realign, all without urgency. This quiet persistence is what allows clarity to return after rest, not through effort, but through gradual adjustment. The brain prepares itself for the next period of wakefulness by refining what already exists, even now. As awareness softens, the brain continues to manage countless details: posture, breathing, internal balance, memory organization, all unfolding smoothly. Nothing needs to be directed. Nothing needs to be monitored. The systems involved have followed these rhythms for countless nights before, guided by biology and time, and so the brain continues its steady motion, communication flowing softly, networks resting and reconnecting, maintaining balance through slow, reliable cycles, carrying awareness gently forward as the night deepens, calm and uninterrupted. The brain also adjusts how information is prioritized as rest deepens. Signals related to long-term needs become more important than immediate detail. Maintenance, regulation, and integration take precedence. This shift allows resources to be directed inward, supporting stability and recovery. Neurons maintain their structure through constant renewal. Proteins are produced, recycled, and replaced. Membranes are repaired. Receptors are adjusted. This cellular upkeep happens quietly, supporting reliable signaling over decades of use. The brain's wiring develops redundancy. Many pathways can carry similar information. This redundancy increases resilience. If one pathway becomes less efficient, others can compensate, maintaining function even after injury or age-related change. Communication between brain regions depends on timing as much as location. Signals that arrive together are more likely to be linked. This principle, often summarized as neurons that fire together wire together, allows experiences to shape connectivity gradually, through repeated alignment rather than force. The brain regulates internal temperature precisely. Metabolic activity generates heat. Blood flow distributes it evenly, preventing localized overheating. This regulation supports consistent performance, even during prolonged activity or rest. Internal sensations, such as balance and body position, are continuously updated by signals from muscles and joints. These signals help maintain posture and coordination, even when movement is minimal, allowing the body to remain comfortable and aligned without conscious effort. The brain's response to stress changes across the night. Stress-related signaling decreases, while systems that promote repair and restoration become more active. This shift helps lower overall tension, supporting recovery across both body and mind. Learning does not stop when awareness fades. Patterns of neural activity associated with recent experiences are replayed, refined, and integrated. This replay is brief and subtle, but repeated many times, strengthening useful connections while allowing others to relax. The brain also maintains flexibility by preserving unused connections in a dormant state. These connections can be reactivated later, supporting adaptation to new skills or environments. This reserve contributes to lifelong learning capacity. Sensory areas remain organized even without input. Visual regions, auditory regions, and tactile regions maintain internal activity patterns, preserving structure and readiness. The brain stays prepared without becoming alert. The brain's chemistry continues to shift slowly. Levels of certain neurotransmitters rise and fall, influencing arousal, mood, and attention. These changes are gradual, avoiding sharp transitions, supporting continuity through the night. As cycles repeat, the distinction between active and quiet states softens. Activity becomes evenly distributed. Communication remains steady. Systems settle into a balanced rhythm. This balance has been refined through millions of years of evolution, favoring efficiency, resilience, and adaptability. The brain does not seek extremes. It maintains function through moderation and repetition. Throughout all of this, awareness can continue to drift without concern. The brain's work does not require supervision. It unfolds according to patterns that have supported countless nights before, and so the brain continues, steady and patient, signals flowing softly, networks adjusting and resting in turn, sustaining balance through calm, reliable cycles, carrying the quiet continuity of thought and rest forward, without interruption, without urgency, through the remaining hours of the night. The brain also monitors internal chemistry at a very fine scale. Levels of ions, such as sodium, potassium, and calcium, are carefully balanced on each side of every neuron's membrane. This balance allows electrical signals to form and fade with precision. Tiny shifts are corrected constantly, maintaining stable communication across billions of cells. Each neuron maintains a resting state, a quiet readiness that allows it to respond quickly when needed. Most of the time, neurons are silent, conserving energy, waiting for meaningful input. This silence is not inactivity, it is preparation. The brain's connective fibers vary in thickness and insulation. Thicker fibers transmit signals faster, thinner ones more slowly. This diversity creates layers of timing, allowing some information to arrive instantly, while other signals unfold gradually, coordinating both quick response and long-term regulation. The brain also keeps track of patterns, detecting regularity in sound, movement, and sensation, even when awareness is low. This pattern recognition supports prediction, helping the brain anticipate what is likely to happen next, reducing surprise and conserving energy. The sense of self emerges from distributed activity. No single region contains identity or awareness. Instead, many networks contribute. Memory, emotion, sensation, and intention combine into a continuous experience. This integration can soften during rest without disappearing completely. The brain regulates eye movement even when eyes are closed. Muscles remain relaxed, yet responsive during certain sleep stages. Eyes move beneath closed lids, reflecting internal visual processing. These movements are coordinated and controlled, not random. The brain's response to light continues indirectly, even in darkness. Internal clocks maintain rhythm based on prior exposure, guiding hormone release and alertness levels. This timing system allows consistency across nights, supporting predictable cycles of rest and wakefulness. The brain stores emotional context alongside factual information. Experiences are not recorded as isolated data. They are linked to feeling and significance. Over time, repeated recall can soften emotional intensity, allowing memory to remain without disturbance. Connections between neurons are supported by structural proteins that adapt with use. Frequently used connections become more stable. Rarely used ones remain flexible. This balance allows both reliability and change, preserving function while allowing learning. The brain's communication is probabilistic rather than absolute. Signals increase or decrease likelihood rather than issuing commands. This flexibility prevents rigidity, allowing smooth adaptation to changing conditions. As rest deepens, overall activity becomes more coordinated. Large networks synchronize briefly, then release. This alternating pattern supports both integration and separation, keeping systems aligned without locking them in place. The brain remains attentive to internal needs: hydration, oxygen, posture. Small adjustments are made automatically, maintaining comfort without waking awareness throughout the night. These processes repeat quietly, no single moment more important than another. Maintenance shared across cycles, changes unfolding gradually. The brain does not seek silence nor constant activity. It maintains balance through variation, adjusting gently, moment by moment. And so this intricate system continues its calm operation. Billions of neurons resting, signaling, adjusting, following rhythms shaped by biology and time, sustaining continuity without effort, allowing awareness to drift, while the brain remains quietly engaged, steady, reliable, and at ease. The brain also preserves continuity by smoothing transitions between states. Shifts from one pattern of activity to another happen gradually, without sharp edges. This prevents disruption, allowing processes to overlap and blend rather than stop and start. Within each neuron, molecular processes continue quietly. Enzymes regulate reactions. Energy is produced in tiny structures called mitochondria, supporting signaling and repair. These microscopic systems work continuously, sustaining the larger networks they belong to. The brain's capacity for integration depends on long-range connections. Fibers that link distant regions allow information to be combined. Sensation, memory, and emotion are brought together through these pathways, creating coherence rather than fragmentation. During rest, communication becomes more global. Networks that are separated during focused attention interact more freely. This openness allows information to be reorganized, associations to form, and patterns to be refined without deliberate effort. The brain also adjusts sensitivity to internal signals. Sensations such as heartbeat and breathing are monitored, but usually remain below awareness. This monitoring supports regulation while preserving calm. The brain's protective barriers remain selective, allowing necessary substances to pass while blocking others. This selectivity preserves the chemical environment required for stable function, maintaining clarity and balance across long periods. Learning from the day is integrated quietly, not replayed in full detail, but distilled into patterns. Useful connections are strengthened. Unnecessary detail is allowed to fade. This selective process supports efficiency and adaptability. The brain's architecture reflects both stability and change. Core structures remain consistent, while surface connections adjust. This balance allows continuity of function alongside flexibility, supporting both reliability and growth. As cycles repeat, activity becomes predictable. Familiar rhythms return. Networks recognize patterns they have followed many times before. This familiarity supports ease, reducing the need for active control. The brain's communication never requires instruction. It follows gradients, probabilities, and timing. Signals rise and fall naturally, guided by internal conditions rather than commands. Throughout this process, awareness can remain light or drift entirely without consequence. The brain does not depend on attention to function. It sustains itself through established mechanisms, even as external input remains minimal. Internal coordination continues. Systems check, adjust, and stabilize, maintaining readiness without alertness. This quiet persistence allows rest to deepen, not by stopping activity, but by organizing it efficiently, reducing unnecessary effort and favoring balance, and so the brain continues its steady course, neurons exchanging signals softly, networks aligning and releasing, processes unfolding at their own pace, carrying continuity forward through calm, unbroken cycles, guided by time, rhythm, and the quiet intelligence of biology. The brain continues its work without asking for attention. Rhythms settle into their slowest patterns. Communication becomes even and unhurried. Systems that have coordinated countless nights before return to familiar balance. Nothing needs to be guided. Nothing needs to be held in focus. Connections rest where they are strongest. Unnecessary activity softens and fades. Essential networks remain quietly active, maintaining stability, repair, and renewal. This balance allows the brain to conserve energy while preserving readiness. Memories are left in place, organized, integrated, and gently stored. Emotional signals are reduced to calm traces, leaving experience intact without urgency. The mind no longer needs to sort or interpret. Internal timing continues steadily. Cycles complete themselves. Transitions occur without notice, each phase flowing into the next, supported by systems designed for continuity rather than interruption. The brain remains protected, nourished, and supported. Blood flow stays even. Chemistry remains balanced. Communication stays clear, all without conscious involvement. And so the brain rests in its natural state, active enough to sustain life, quiet enough to allow deep stillness, following patterns refined over millions of years. There is nothing left to follow, nothing left to observe. The processes that carry awareness forward will continue on their own through the remaining hours of the night. And as this final thought fades, the brain remains steady, calm, and complete, continuing its gentle work long after the story has ended.